Alright, so let's talk about the brick and what it is. So this is the Lego brick. To turn it on, you hold that center button there. You hold that until the light comes on, you let go, it takes a few minutes. Once we get into our menus, we're going to use these outer buttons to move left, right, up, and down, and the middle button to select. This top button here is going to take us back, so you'll hear me call that the back button all the time. The brick itself has 4 ports on the back, labeled 1 through 4. The numbers are always the sensors. It has 4 ports in the front, labeled A, B, C, D, and those are always the motors. It also has a port that you hook up your PC to load programs. On the left-hand side, it's got a USB port, and you would use that if you were daisy chaining bricks together so that you wanted more motors or more sensors. And it's got an SD card where you can slide that in and run this robot using things like Robot C and Python and some other programming languages. On the other side, it's got our speaker, which is not loud at all. Alright, so the brick came on. This is our menu in here. One of the things I want to warn you about, this first tab, there are 4 tabs across the top. To go through them, we put the left and right here. This first tab is evil. It is the programs you have run. If you run a program from here, it is not the most recent version, it's the last run version. So if you run it and you make some changes, and you reload it, and then you run it from here, you're actually not running the changes, you're running what it was before you made the changes. Alright, so I'm going to go over to the second tab. This second tab is actually where the programs are that you want to do. So this is where you want to find your programs and run them from. Do not name your programs Program 1, Program 2, Program 3. Be descriptive. If you got a program that goes 12 inches forward, write 12 inches forward. Turns right. Gets checkers. These are program names, not Program 1, Program 2, Program 3. The next one over is got some of the neat stuff. In fact, it's got our port view. To select it, that's that very first one. To select it, I'm going to press the center button, and it shows me all my connected ports. So on the bottom, it shows me everything is dashed because I don't have anything. On the top, it shows the first 3 because I've got motors there, and that the first one it shows is my A motor. In fact, it coincides, each of those little tabs coincides exactly with the brake. So this is my medium motor, and you'll see that if I go up here and turn it, it actually changes on the screen. I can use this, especially when I'm trying to make measurements. And you're going to find this later. We're going to do one of the next exercises. We're going to drive a specific distance. It's very easy to use this to move it and then to read off here and get my details. Now, if I want to, I can actually press the center and change from degrees to rotations. Don't use rotations unless you're doing some. Don't use rotations. I'm going to back my back button there. Stick with degrees. Rotations are not accurate in any way, shape, or form. We'll stick with them, okay? So I'm going to back out of that menu. The next one down is motor control. Motor control, a lot of people think it's fun. Its use is if you write a program and the program doesn't work and you're thinking, man, the motors are broke. This is the fastest way to know, are my rotors working? Or is it my program? So you hit center, it'll change the sets of motors. I'm going to put that back. And you can do it. So you can walk through all the motors and make sure they're all working. The only problem is, remember, it is always on for 100% speed, which means if you make things like claws and you use motor control to work them, you're generally going to break your stuff. So we're going to get out of that. The rest of these we won't be playing with, so I'm not going to worry about them. The bottom one is if I really hate you and I make you program on the brick, because it's tough. So we're on the 5th menu and it has some important stuff. So the first one is volume. These speakers aren't big. They don't put out any volume. If you turn that down, you won't hear anything. The next one down is sleep. Go ahead and leave that alone. It's set for 30 minutes right now, which is pretty nice. Next one's Bluetooth, and we will get into that later, but not now. Then we have Wi-Fi, which we won't be using. And the last one is brick name. I have named my brick Froggy. And you can name your brick anything you want, but it should be descriptive and not offensive. If you wonder if it's offensive, get rid of it. Alright, so that's a basic overview of the brick and its menus. Hopefully that helps some. Next program we're going to work on is the actual programming itself.